Hello everybody, this is Prashant Solomon and welcome to my channel. In the last video we talked about extraterrestrial life in general and about disclosure and how it would be a good thing if disclosure happened, because it would open up our horizons, it will open up our minds and make us realize that we're part of a much larger living universe. Now today I'm going to talk about something a little different, similar to this, but it's more about the kind of extraterrestrials. So we've had reports of the Greys, we've had reports of reptilians, we've had reports of insectoids, all right? We've had all kinds of reports, some very, very human looking, which are generally referred to as the Nordics, okay? But now if you look at one thing that all of these have in common, at least the ones that have been reported, is that they're all humanoid in shape. They all have 2 arms, 2 legs, a body, a torso, a head, all right? Now that head is in different shapes. Sometimes it looks like like an insect. It looks like a gray, which is, again, sort of insectoid looking, more like an ant looking. Then you have reptilians, which look like reptiles, and then humanoids, and all that stuff. So what we're going to talk about is that is there some sort of a way of, when the creator or God or whatever you want to call it, when they create species, are they following a particular sort of pattern? Why is it that at least the ones that we have encountered allegedly, or it hasn't been proved, but yeah, enough people have seen these ETs, right? So why are they always humanoid? Is that some sort of a pattern that is there in the universe, that as life evolves to a particular level of intelligence, they will be humanoid in shape and structure? And what is to say that there are not other humans out there? Like Nordics have been described as pretty much humans, like human-like. You wouldn't really be able to tell the difference. And what if human life on other planets across the galaxy and maybe across the universe is not as uncommon as what we think, because, okay, evolution itself right now is just a theory, all right? I've always wondered that if evolution is exactly the way that is portrayed by Darwin, why is it that there are no in-between, sort of species? Like, for example, when before Homo sapiens, which is us, before Homo sapiens, there was like Homo erectus, Neanderthal, and other stages of ape evolution. So let's put it this way: when we were the Homo erectus and now we are Homo sapiens, the lower primate at that time, how come that has not evolved to become a Homo erectus? So evolution, it's a theory, right? It hasn't really been proved, I think, and maybe it's different. Maybe human life actually originated on some other planet, and then that planet became technologically advanced and started colonizing other planets. So maybe Earth is only one of several planets, human planets, that were colonized by, say, a mother race, all right? Maybe Earth has sister planets out there in this galaxy, and, those humans could be traveling here. Maybe they're traveling here just to sort of check up on us, because something happened to Earth, something maybe about 12 to 14,000 years ago, which could be, we call it the Great Flood. We call it, every religion talks of this Great Flood, where Atlantis got destroyed and, other civilizations of the time got destroyed. So maybe we were a lot more advanced before the flood, and we were in touch with our brothers and sisters, human brothers and sisters from other planets. And then after this thing happened, maybe they just said that, look, we have to follow the prime directive, like they mentioned in Star Trek, that even though these are our brothers and sisters, but we can't interfere with them now, because they have now fallen to a lower level of not intelligence, but at least technology. So maybe that is one one explanation. Another thing I've heard is that human ETs are actually us who have come from the future back into this time to maybe prevent us from doing something silly, or just sort of watching us, or like just observing us or whatever. So there's so many possibilities. Maybe humans from Earth before the flood happened went to visit other planets and now are just coming back to their home. So I mean, we don't know. There's so many possibilities. But what I, what I feel is that there are certain kind of life forms that perhaps, certain shapes and sizes and patterns that could be there all across the galaxy and the universe. For example, okay, it's not. I mean, it is definitely something to think about. Like, no matter which planet you're on, if you're talking at the atomic level, all right. So it doesn't matter whether you're on Earth or you're on Jupiter or you're on some distant star. Say for like a water molecule is H2O, right? So it doesn't matter which part of the universe you're in. Two atoms of hydrogen mix with one of oxygen to form a molecule of water, H2O, or CO2, or anything. So, there's a particular structure of the universe. So maybe if you extend that same thing to a higher level, maybe life that is at a particular level of consciousness exists in a certain pattern. And, maybe there's variations. It could be humanoid, it could be like greys or insects or, reptilians or whatever.
Across thousands of reported encounters, whether involving greys, reptilians, or Nordic beings, one thing remains strangely consistent: the humanoid form. 2 arms, 2 legs, a torso, a head, bilateral symmetry. Why is this form so universal, not just on Earth, but in the vast diversity of extraterrestrial descriptions? Many spiritual traditions suggest the answer lies in what is called the universal form blueprint, a sacred geometric archetype encoded into the very architecture of life itself. This blueprint, often symbolized through the figure of Adam Kadmon in ancient mystical teachings, is not simply a biological configuration, it is a vessel for higher consciousness. The humanoid structure, it seems, allows the soul to express its full spectrum: emotions, intellect, free will, and even divine creativity. In this view, the reason we see similar forms across the cosmos isn't evolutionary coincidence, but a reflection of cosmic design.
And maybe even, like, I was watching this video on Jeff Mara the other day about how, and this guy who was there, he was this actor in this show called The Expanse. I'll put a link to that video below. He even said a very interesting thing, that maybe the reptilians and the insectoids that we think are reptilians and insectoids, maybe they're actually not. Maybe they are not really reptilian, but they resemble reptiles. Maybe they have green skin or gray skin with scales or whatever, but that doesn't necessarily make them reptilian. All right, and the same goes for insectoids. So there's so many possibilities, but I think now we're at the threshold of a time when people are more open to these ideas and they're more willing to talk about it. And I think that there's going to be an explosion in this sort of knowledge and this sort of research and this sort of experience in the near future, because, we've reached a stage on planet Earth when we have to find some other place ultimately to survive. And it's a great feeling to know that we're not alone. It just puts things in a totally different perspective. Like, I'm a big Star Wars fan. I don't know if you guys are, but I'm sure some of you are. I would really personally be very happy if our galaxy was something like the Star Wars galaxy, with all kinds of different species and other planets and spaceships that you could go from one place to another. So maybe that is something that will happen, because, they say that fiction always has some element of reality in it. So, yeah. That's what I wanted to talk to you about today. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing this with others. Take care and have a great day. Bye bye.